Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. And welcome to another weekend. It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. In case you've never tuned into the show before, next 30 minutes is going to be jam-packed full of all sorts of real estate information. So you need to get a pen and paper ready. In case you miss any of the information, here's a couple of contact numbers you need to keep in hand. Well, first of all, the website is blakesloanradio.com. All the stuff we're going to be talking about today is going to be also on that website, blakesloanradio.com. The phone number, as always, for Blake Sloan at Sloan Realty Group is 843-808-SOLD. That's 843-808-SOLD. And if you'd like to email him, please do at ask@blakesloanradio.com. We'll repeat those numbers and contact information throughout the course of the next 30 minutes. So if you didn't get it that time, just get a pen and paper ready, and we'll get it to you the next time. But without further ado, let's go ahead and find out what Blake has for us this week. Blake, good morning.
Good morning. Got all kind of great stuff. Rock and roll into the new year. So great stuff to cover. Both tons of great info for buyers and sellers. And just a few topics we're going to cover. We have the final number for how we ended up 2013. And we're talking about what those numbers were, what that means in 2014, and what we all need to know here locally in our marketplace, and how we can all adjust and make sure that we're 2 steps ahead, either buying or selling. Or if you just live here, want to know, we'll kind of break down where we end up. And a lot of people who may not have had equity before who actually may have equity, so we'll cover that as well. We got a special guest, Mr. PRIVETTE. He's one of our in-house listing experts here, and he's my right-hand man in all of our residential home sales. So he's going to help contribute, talk about what's going on in 2014, what home sellers can do to maximize their potential in regards to selling on the market, and some of the biggest challenges facing some other people out there on the market, and we'll talk about that as well. Also break down and mention again, we have the hedge fund looking to buy properties here in our area now. If you're possibly interested, we'll talk about that, but our biggest challenge is finding the houses for them to buy because they need so many. So that's something we're going to talk about. Also, we even actually bought a home last month, and we didn't get to it last show. We mentioned it, but we never had the time to get to it. We bought a home last month. We had a seller who needed to sell quickly, and he came to us. We actually bought it, had him an offer 48 hours for what he needed, a little bit more. Wow. We actually bought it within our company, so he actually wrote the offer 48 hours, closed 2 weeks later, and he was able to get out. But we're going to talk about that a little bit, how that worked, and how anyone else who may need to sell quickly can do the same thing. And of course, you have the usual smoking hot deals for everyone, how you get absolute best access, VIP access to all the deals before anyone else, even most real estate agents know about them.
Well, like I said, it is a jam-packed show, and you've got a lot to go over here. But if you are a new listener to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan, let me just give you a little bit of an insight to who Blake is and what he does. Really an amazing story. Been called the Real Estate Whiz Kid, been featured in Forbes, Wall Street Journal, on NBC, Realtor magazine, other national publications as well. You've heard the endorsements on this radio station from Glenn Beck and Sean Hannity. Now, anything by itself like that would be great, but if you put them all together, it's just extra great. Now, last week we learned a little bit from you, Blake, about you and how your team work, how a good portion of your success comes from, well, it's a trademark system you've developed for both buyers and sellers in our market. Could you recap that for us?
Absolutely. This is something I want to make sure we hit every single week, because hands down I see it affecting people in a negative way over and over and over. Obviously who we don't represent, but people don't realize the single most important variable that determines your success or failure as a buyer or a seller in today's marketplace is 100% the agent that you choose. Hands down. It's just like, and most people think that real estate agents are a commodity. They're all the same. You know, I know somebody in the business, could not be further from the truth. And that's the biggest thing that people make the massive mistake of not interviewing people, not interviewing and seeking out the best. And that's what anyone needs to do who's obviously looking to do something with what's usually their largest asset. But what we do is we've actually making sure that we create leverage at every single point. So to break it down, I've traveled around the whole country, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest in what's working in other areas, hired coaches, hired the best we can find in our industry and also other industries. What can we do to make this exact process go perfect every single time and create maximum leverage for our clients? So, for example, there's 100 different variables from A to Z, all the way from listing a house to getting it closed. Same thing for a buyer searching for a house. There's different variables. So what our system's done, reverse engineered from A to Z to create maximum leverage at every single one of those points, so we get the same exact results every single time just about. And that's how our stuff performs so much better. But our guaranteed sold system does that, sells homes for faster and for 21% more money. We also have our Unfair Advantage home buying system where buyers can get access to the absolute best deals even before most realtors know about them. We're the largest foreclosure brokerage in the area. We're able to get you access to those even before the market. And also, we're able to help you get the absolute best financing. That's usually the number one mismanaged variable when somebody buys a home is interest rate. And guess what? Most of them don't even talk about it or even know about it. So we're going to talk about that, and that's really the most important thing that everyone needs to remember no matter what. If you're buying or selling now, buying or selling 3 years from now, the number one most important variable in buying or selling is the agent that you choose, the team that you choose.
All right, well, we're just scratching the surface here today on this week's edition of the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Tell you what, here's the contact information once again. Told you it was going to be coming out throughout the next 30 minutes. If you need to call Blake at Sloan Realty Group, it's 808-SOLD, area code 843-808-SOLD. The website set up specifically for this radio show is blakesloanradio.com, blakesloanradio.com. And if you have an email question, ask at blakesloanradio.com. Coming up next, going to be finding out what the real estate market looks like in our area. We're going to be talking about interest rates and more.
Hey, it's your friend Sean Hannity. Now, if you own property in Myrtle Beach, the national marketing plan of the realtor that you choose is absolutely critical. Now, that's exactly why you need to talk to Blake Sloan at Sloan Realty Group. Now, Blake has a marketing system on a whole different level than anyone else in Myrtle Beach. It's so effective at capturing local buyers from around the world that he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and a deadline that you agree to, or Blake's going to buy it. Now, most agents rely on yard signs and open houses that attract the occasional buyer. Blake attracts hundreds of buyers each month, which creates demand and helps your property sell fast and for top dollar. Now, that's why on average, Blake sells a property every single day of the year and is ranked among the top 100 agents in the entire U.S. by the Wall Street Journal. Now, working with Blake is risk-free. If you're not happy, Blake gives you the freedom to cancel your contract and pay nothing. So give Blake a call today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or just go online and see Blake's interview on NBC at blakesguaranteed.com. blakesguaranteed.com. And be sure to listen to Blake's Real Estate Show every Sunday morning at 9 and Saturday mornings at 8.
Welcome back. Really haven't gone anywhere. We've been here the whole time. It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan on Hot Talk 99.5. Blake Sloan from Sloan Realty Group. Again, the phone number is 808-SOLD, 808-SOLD, area code 843, in case you'd like to get in touch with Blake at the Sloan Realty Group. Now, Blake, a lot of action's been happening since the year has turned over to 2014. What is the real estate market? What are some of the new numbers that are out there?
We finally got the annual numbers in, so that's huge. And it's right, like I said, we've nailed it. If you look back at all of our previous shows on YouTube or something, we've nailed almost every single month in regards to what was happening, supply and demand, what our marketplace was coming, and great news as a whole in regards to how we ended up. So for 2013, single-family sales and condo prices were up over 2012. We knew that, right? Single-family full-year sales finished at new 2013 highs, obviously from where we were before. The only thing that's a little concerning, a little weird, is November, December sales were flat. We kind of knew it was going to slow down, obviously, in those winter holiday months where people kind of get paralyzed. But the really big thing was interest rates may have played a little bit of part in that, and we're going to kind of watch that going forward. But overall, annually, we ended up way up, which is great news here. So, for example, single-family sales, and that's what we always judge the market on. That's the most accurate for us to kind of see what's going on in residential homes. That way, it's not skewed by a lot of investors or skewed by a lot of people buying second homes, and we'll kind of see that's really the main thing to gauge by. But single-family home sales for the entire year, the whole 2013 was up 19.5% from prior year. Great news as a whole, right? So obviously sales increased first, and then obviously prices fall after that. So that's the cool thing. And the second most important part there is single-family median sales price was up to $188,000, which is about 6.5% increase. So always supply and demand, right? So demand was up, sales were up 19%. Prices finally crept up with that. It's great, stable, where we're not double digits like Atlanta. Some of the big metro areas had a ton of investors and basically hedge funds buying tons of homes. They were double-digit growth. So now, if they stop buying, it's really going to hurt their values and stuff there. So we're really stable. Great news in regards to where we're at. Single-family inventory declined seasonally, but it's up 2.1% from prior year. But here's the key factor to all the value in regards to the actual sales values and the average price. Is distressed listings declined. They're down 31.5% from previous year. right? Much less. So all the homeowners out there are not competing with as many foreclosures. And I've said it in news interviews for years now, radio shows for a couple of years now. Once we're able to flush all that backlog of the shadow inventory and the foreclosures, that's when we're able to get a true, I guess, idea of the market, and people were able to start seeing their values increase because there was just so much backlog. Like I mentioned before, we had people who hadn't made a payment in 5 years.
Right.
We're still not even on foreclosure yet. So that's something that's finally getting cleared out. The same thing with year-to-date list to sale price ratio. For example, if you had a $100,000 house listed and it sold for $94,000, you're at 94% list to sale price ratio. That's where we ended up this year, year-to-date. And it was 93% for December. That's great news, which means it's still obviously demand's there. People are paying near at asking price. So that's a great thing there. Condo inventory, it leveled off down 2.9%, which is good. Distress listings there are down 47.2%.
Wow.
So that's a great thing. They're finally flushing all that backlog. And again, we had kind of it's like almost two different ways where initially that was the first thing that hit really strong because people had their second homes. They kept their primary home back home and they made payments there. And that was what they let go first. And here we've kind of seen the second round. We found that as a foreclosure brokerage, most of those condos were like annual rentals. They had a set, as investment properties.
Right.
They weren't as much as the oceanfront condos. Those are kind of what went first. But all that's kind of gotten out. Condo sales annual, they're up 15.2% last year. And we're up December versus last year. Huge increase in December. Year-to-date sales up 5.4%. The median price of condos were up 4.8% to $110,000. So that's great news for everybody as a whole. And we also saw lots increase as well. Finally, lot prices, check this out. Median lot price up 45.2%.
Wow.
Why do you think that is? Because people are trying to build like crazy, right, to keep up with that demand. So we're seeing that all over the country. We're seeing that here. And I was actually in Florida at a conference recently, and we were talking about the same thing. You're seeing it everywhere. We're finally seeing Myrtle Beach, some cranes come back up on the ocean. So we're seeing a lot more confidence here. The builders are able to get financing now. They're kind of throwing back in. And the ones that survived are actually adding more inventory. That's one thing to really look for if you're a homeowner out there. You're going to have to compete with these new home sales who these builders survived the tough times. They're a lot more efficient now. They know how to manage their margins now a lot better. So that's one thing to watch out for. Really cool thing that I want to mention, just kind of make sure everybody knows about. We have a really cool tool on our website, Blake Sloan Radio. You can get to instant value of your home in 30 seconds or less. So that's something that we had some great feedback. Some people submitted and said, hey, it's a great tool. Like there's no submitting and waiting for somebody to call you and all that. You get a range in 30 seconds or less. So all you do is add your address, and basically it'll show you all the comps and stuff right there in 30 seconds or less. Go to our site, blakesloanradio.com, and then you're able to see on the right side there's a post right there in the blog where you can get that direct link to it. 2 seconds. It's non-threatening, really easy. So check that out. You can also call us anytime. The reason I mention that is there's so many more across the country, millions and millions of sellers who were negative equity before. Now they're able to have some equity and get their house sold. They may not even know it. So might as well take 2 seconds, or 30 seconds actually, to make sure you can find information and get a non-threatening way to get the value of your home there, which is huge. So going forward in 2014, we're going to see it kind of be about the same. In regards to, I think interest rates are going to play a huge point in that. Everyone's kind of saying they're going to go up, which we all know about, which we've said. And I think that's really going to determine how much growth we have, where we have it. But, it's going to depend on who buyers, which type of buyers come on the market. First-time buyers, move-up buyers. But people who have kind of been sitting around, it's like the car manufacturers, right? Cars manufacture record sales because no one bought cars for 3 or 4 years, right? People are getting that itch. They're wanting to move. And I think we're going to see that same thing here. But it's really going to determine interest rates going forward.
So, as far as interest rates are concerned, obviously this changes and fluctuates. We've seen it a lot since we've been on the air here, but where are they right now?
Yeah, it actually was, it crept down a little bit from the first of the year. So right now, from the primary mortgage market survey, 30-year fixed rate, average rate 4.41%. So still extremely low, but, it's a much higher than the a year ago this time, first of last year, is 3.37, right? We talked about it. We said everybody needs to get off the fence or think about it. So we're seeing significant increases, but everyone in the world is saying they're going to increase significantly going forward. So that's kind of where we're looking at. 15-year, I think we talked about that, 3.45%. And we look back at the first of this year, it's 4.53. So it dropped a little bit. We saw a huge increase in people refinancing, some more buyers in action. But the key here is everybody's predicting what rates will do in 2014. Most experts are saying it's going to go significantly. I've had a lot of people in the industry tell me they think it's going to get a lot closer to 6 than it is going to be hovering by 5 by the fourth quarter. So that's something to really watch about. Just to kind of give you some numbers of what analysts have said. Fannie Mae said that their projected number for fourth quarter 2014, they're the most optimistic, 4.8%. I think it's going to be much higher than that. A National Association of Realtors say 5.3. Freddie Mac says 5.0. And the Mortgage Bankers Association says 5.3. So we were obviously going that initial tick. They announced they were going to hold off on the tapering. Now they say, hey, look, we're doing the tapering. So that's kind of where everybody's looking at. But here's kind of what's really, you got to read between the lines here. So Doug Duncan, he's chief economist for Fannie Mae. He announced recently, I don't think the Fed ultimately will be trouble with a 6.5% mortgage rate, right? They just got to figure out how do we get there and taper this off without, killing the markets everywhere. The other part is the same exact thing came from Freddie Mac's chief economist, where they're basically saying as the economy improves, we expect to see continued upward movement in long-term interest rates. At today's house prices, income levels, and mortgage rates would have to be near 7% before the U.S. median price would be unaffordable. So that's reading between the lines what's really, kind of looking to happen. And I see that we're probably going to be the high fives by fourth quarter 2014 as they taper back. So what that means, we'll cover that maybe another show, but buying power is drastically reduced in regards to that. Like I said,
Absolutely.
People don't realize how much more money they can afford. That one jump there can cost you, keep you from getting that dream house or not getting that dream house in reality. So that's huge news there for everybody as well. And we'll do a whole show kind of on buying power coming up.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go run to a break here real quick. Coming up in just a second, hot buyer alert, and also today's special guest. We'll find out more about that all coming up in just a second. You are listening to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. His phone number, as always, 843-808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. If you need any more information about what you're hearing today, go to the website, blakesloanradio.com.
Hello, Myrtle Beach. It's Glenn Beck. And if you need to sell
So we hit
your
the hedge fund real
property,
quick and then
you
we'll
don't have
roll
to
into this.
experience all the headaches
16
of
minutes, we got
all-night
about,
experience when I finally
so we have
sold
about
my
8
home
minutes
in
to talk,
Connecticut.
which
Because
is
you
pretty
have
long.
a
When you get back from this, you're going to be at about 17 and a half, so you'll have 12 minutes
I got
total.
smart now.
Oh, do you?
So yeah. I learned my lesson trying to keep wondering, or you having to cut me off, so yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So we're in good shape.
All right, I'll start talking faster about 24.
Can you start? Can you talk faster? I don't think you can. Do you want me to do the hedge fund as we've been doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Most agents in Myrtle Beach, they stick a sign in your yard, maybe a balloon, and they hope the buyer finds you. But Blake spends tens of thousands of dollars attracting buyers from all over the world that come to Myrtle Beach. That helps his properties sell fast and for top dollar. Blake even gives you the option to get out of your contract.
There's supposed to be two or three other hedge funds they're looking to buy
with
in
this
our-
level of service, but you
in
never
our
will.
region. I don't know
He's
if
the
I
real
can get in
estate
touch with
agent I wish I could have called, Blake Sloan. Call him now at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD, or visit Blake's website and see his interview on NBC. That's blakesguarantee.com. Or listen to Blake's Real Estate Show every Saturday morning at 8 or Sunday morning at 9.
It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Phone number once again is 808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD if you'd like to get in touch with Blake at his office, the Sloan Realty Group. Right now, we're going to be giving you the same information we've given you a few times here, but if you're brand new to the show, you're going to say, this is something you definitely need to pay attention to. Blake is working with a hedge fund right now, and they are looking to buy 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes built anywhere between 1990 and now in the Horry County area. Now, they're looking to spend about $200,000 or less. Now, if your home meets these requirements, if you're thinking about selling, contact Blake immediately. Again, the phone number is 808-SOLD, 808-SOLD. 3-bedroom, 2-bath between 1990 and today in Horry County, although there is a little bit of room to fudge on some of the parameters.
Absolutely, and there's kind of two aspects of this. We have that fund we're working with, and the biggest challenge there is they're looking, like I said, to buy 100-plus homes just in a matter of time and then carry that long term. But we also have other actually professional home buyers that we work with and investors who buy $500,000, $1 million homes too. So it's important to know we have people who get offered in 48 hours. We've done it. That's the big thing where we really specialize in that, because our investors that work with us, they've done extremely well with that, extremely well. We've had some that made 7 figures with us just without even touching anything. So that's something that's important there. But at the same time, with the hedge fund, the difference here is it's a buy, rent, hold strategy, right? Where most investors are buying, flipping, which means they have to have a bigger margin, right? They have to be able to, that's why a lot of investors offer 50, 60 cents in the dollar. Not ours, but some out there do. But the thing is, they're able to pay more because their strategy here is to buy it, hold it, and obviously everybody knows the market goes up 5%. Well, the market goes up 5%, $100, $200 million. That's a great return for people with little to no risk in regards to that fund. So definitely call us about it. Like I said, it will let you know very, very quickly in 2 seconds if something may fit. But the one thing I don't want to make sure we eliminate is anybody in the high end. We have tons of investors who will buy that quickly. And we have a ton of high-end buyers who we can't find properties. As you know, we specialize also in unique homes, and anyone who has unique homes definitely want to reach out to us because we have buyers who are obviously very unique in themselves, and they're looking for these properties, and that's our biggest challenge is finding them those deals there, finding properties. And here's the deal: they'll pay a premium for properties that match what they want, especially on the high-end area. And we literally have hundreds who are looking to buy at any one time as well. So that's something we'll kind of talk about too. As well, if you want, we actually have our special guest here. Rolling to is Randy Privette. Hey, Randy, how you doing?
Good morning, guys. Doing good.
And the one thing here is just talk about Randy. He's absolutely the man. He's my right-hand guy in all of our traditional listing stuff, regards to anything that we list, and he goes through everything. And the one thing that most people don't realize before they meet with us and go through our system is that just in our marketplace, 52.31% of homes fail to sell, right? So you put your house in the market, you have less than half a chance of success. So that's one thing we always preach about. Hey, look, I wouldn't get on an airplane if I had less than a half, 50% chance of getting there, but most people gamble their largest assets. So Randy's become an absolute expert in our guaranteed sold system, and got some really, really cool stories. But the main thing we'll talk about is we need inventory, right?
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable year. Since the start of the year, we've had properties that have sold in less than 30 days and almost selling quicker than we can get them.
And the ones that sold, they were actually under contract within a few days, and actually were able to close in there. We've had some. We've actually already put 10 under contract just in the first 2 weeks, just traditional side. Regular, not short sale, not any distress, and we need a lot more inventory wise because we have so many more buyers out there that we've seen. So we also have a really cool success story. We talk about, what was that one you were telling me about?
I listed a house back in the middle of December, right on the 16th, and that house had been formally listed 7 prior times to me putting it on the market. And I actually listed it more than the last 3 most recent times it had been on the market, and we went under contract, listed it on November the 18th, went under contract with a cash buyer on December the 16th, so under 30 days.
So back to my number one point, most important thing for anybody, the most important thing that you can do as a buyer or seller is what? Right, it's the agent that you choose. So you got to see that paper really quick. That's it's crazy. Just going through it here. If you look, this thing was listed 7 different times for multiple years, and then our last listing was for more than the last 1, 2, 3 listings were, and these were with separate people now. So they have failure, had failure, had failure, had failure 7 times until they were able to find the right. And I'm not sure exactly how they came across this, but anybody out there is thinking it's so important. I can't express how important it is to make sure you hire the right agent who makes sure they have the right marketing program, because it does matter, right? And that's a great story. That's just one of the many that we get all the time. Also, we have one of our clients who they owed like $250,000 more. We were able to. Randy's also a certified loss mitigation specialist, and he able to negotiate with banks. He's absolutely the man with doing that. We've had other shows in the past where he's talked about. But what was that most recent success story you're talking about?
I just had a client. We did a short sale on his property. He owed right at $252,000 on it that we started back the end of November. Got an offer on it, submitted it over to the bank. It was with Citibank, and just got word yesterday, got the approval letters over. In the email yesterday, everything is good to go. The bank's accepted the offer on it, and the biggest thing is they're letting them walk away from all of the remaining debt over what it's valued at now, and accepted the offer. They're forgiving that so that there's no responsibility to them whatsoever.
And there's no promissory notes, none of that stuff, right?
None at all. They're free and clear after the day we close.
And it's easy to get somebody to take, a bank to, and we've done this before. We talked about this last time you're on the show, is they'll offer you, look, we'll take X amount, what we want a promissory note for, $100,000, and we have the experience to know when to push back and say no. And in this situation, they owed over $250,000 more, and the bank approved that difference and forgave without any deficiency or anything, correct?
Correct. The bank's letting them walk away with about an $80,000 difference in deficiency.
Okay, gotcha. And that's the cool thing about in that situation. Okay, gotcha. They owed over $250K on it.
Correct.
Gotcha. And the one thing too is the other example. We had a guy who called, had a house, in Cherry Grove, right? Needed to sell ASAP, very very urgent. We were over there. We had an offer within 48 hours.
Yeah, he called me on a Monday morning, and I drove up, took a look at it, probably about 2 o'clock on Monday, and we had a paperwork drawn up that afternoon, and we're under contract. And week before Christmas, we closed within, I believe it was 7 or 8 days.
Yep, and that's the cool thing. That's with us. So that's the kind of guarantee we buy it. There's a lot of times we don't even really have to put on the market first. We're definitely investors as well, and we'll buy stuff. So that's an important thing for anybody out there to remember. That's very, very cool in those regards. So any other tips or anything that you can think of, Randy?
One thing that's important too, sometimes a lot of sellers I meet with don't have exact plans on where they're going after their house sells. And a lot of times I'll explain to them, because we're such a big second home market and people relocating to our market, a lot of times buyers will allow the seller of the house to stay in the house for, 30 days, 60 days, possibly lease it back from them for, a short period of time to help with that transition. Because a lot of sellers are worried, if we get it sold in 30 days, where are we going? We don't have any idea. It helps with that transition. So there are options, if they're, if they're scared that, it may sell too quick, where they're going to have to go, but they do have time, to address that.
And these are just a few of these stories that we could just squeeze in. It's almost like we need like the Fox News, like the show after the show to really, go through these stories. So the one thing I want to get out there, anybody that's out there that may have listened to our shows, you're thinking about it, I might Google them later. Here's the deal. Pick up the phone, call us, 808-SOLD. It's non-threatening. We have a VIP concierge that will answer all the questions and say, look, they'll tell you straight up, hey, look, you got equity. We feel we can get maximum, value for this property here. Or they may say, hey, look, just hold on a little bit. Especially anybody and it kills to see the foreclosure sale every month. People who had no clue that there was help out there. Like this perfect example, this guy owed $250,000. We're able to let him walk away with $80,000 that he would have owed, free and clear. So we have the system and tools to do that. We just, I wish I could just broadcast on every radio, station all the time, because it's that important. We see people who lose their number one asset, and it really hurts their life, and they're just knowing to call. So share this with anybody that you know. If you think there's maybe somebody who may owe more than it's worth, or they may be, upside down, give them our number, give us our information at 808-SOLD. Tell them to go to Blake Sloan Radio, submit a question, whatever you want to do. Do that, because it's that important in regards to helping them, because we do this all day long, every day, and this is just one of the many stories that we've done in regards to getting a short sale done, which most people don't even know about, and also buying homes for what you need it for within 24, 48 hours and closing it within 2 weeks. So that's just one of the many. We always make sure we balance that tightrope of getting you the maximum amount of money for your home and selling it as fast as you need. And I hands down feel we're the best in the business at that. So definitely do that. Go to our site, ask questions, whatever you may need, and that's definitely what anybody needs to do.
Tell you what, we can take a quick break right here if we want, and we come back and just wrap things up. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to go into, do you have a hot deal of the
Absolutely,
week?
got a couple hot deals real quick if you want.
Go ahead and do that.
Randy, you got one too that's Ivy Lee?
Yeah, I've got a couple of good deals. I've got one out in Conway off of Ivy Lee Drive. My clients built the house about 8 months ago, moved into it for about 5 months, and are in the process. We're selling it right now. The house is as close to brand new construction as you can get. It's an absolute beautiful, beautiful home located right outside of Conway.
And I've got one too that's somebody reached out to me personally. They actually listened to the show. They have probably the most immaculate, unbelievable oceanfront house I've ever seen. It costs them around $800 a square foot to build it, and they're selling it for dirt cheap. So give us a call about that. It's right in Myrtle Beach in the Golden Mile, and call us, email us about that. Also have another great deal. It's a foreclosure deal in Pine Lakes, right? I have a house in Pine Lakes there too. It's one of the absolute best neighborhoods in Myrtle Beach. 5901 Longleaf Drive. It's a foreclosure deal. It's in the 300s, lower 300s. So call us about that. Check us out. Randy, you got any other deals too?
Yeah, I've got another one. I met with the client on Monday that we're going to be bringing to the market. It's actually a 13-acre farm on the north end of the Strand. It's about a 6,800 square foot house, everything custom built. Took them about 2 years to build. It's absolutely amazing. It's got stocked ponds on it, pools fenced in. It's got more farm equipment than you could ever see to take care of the property. It's actually an unbelievable, amazing property that's going to be coming very soon.
And one thing too, anybody else, we have our Unfair Advantage home buying system. You get access to the foreclosure comes to the market at 12 o'clock at night. You get it the same exact minute. So that's something that anyone that's interested. If you want to take a look, go to our site, Blake Sloan Radio. There's a link to use our search tool. The absolute best on that. We literally pay about $6,000 a month just for that tool. It's the most advanced technology in the industry. So check that site out. Go to Blake Sloan Radio. Go to the search page there and check it out. Send us some messages, and we look forward to talking to you.
All right. Well, Blake, of course, if anybody wants to get in touch with you after all the information you've given us too this weekend, 808-SOLD, the phone number 843-808-SOLD. The web address for everything that you've heard about today is going to be blakesloanradio.com, blakesloanradio.com. Blake, thanks for your time as always.
Thank you,
see
guys.
again next weekend.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. It has been the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan on Hot Talk 99.5.
Hey, it's your friend Sean Hannity. Now, if you own property in Myrtle Beach, the national marketing plan of the realtor that you choose is absolutely critical. Now, that's exactly why you need to talk to Blake Sloan and